today, but I believe this one's going to air on the 5th, Wednesday, the 5th of October. Moving right along. We're doing our candy drive now. We also have a prayer seminar coming up this month with Pastor Nathanson. That's going to be an amazing time. God's been incredibly faithful with the guests that we've had and the conference that we experienced back east. Pastor Graziano's ministry there in New York. By the way, that was the place where they got the idea for Bedford Falls, which was It's a Wonderful Life, Bedford Falls, the bridge. I actually went to the bridge. It was fun. My favorite movie. Anyway, Psalm 27 is a psalm where David probably was going through his experience with Absalom and his life being threatened, everything happening in such a very, I imagine as he watched this all unfurl, he couldn't do anything to change it. It was just moving, and he had no way of stopping what was inevitably going to happen. But I think it's interesting as it talks about when evildoers come upon me to devour my flesh, he says in verse 2, my adversaries, my enemies, they stumbled and fell. And though a host encamp against me, in verse 3, my heart will not fear. Though war rise against me, in this I will be confident. He has this confidence. He actually speaks of three things that he was seeking in his life. This was where his heart was fixed. I've asked the Lord that I shall seek, and that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. He wants to be around the Lord. I want to behold the beauty of the Lord. I want to perceive his beauty. I often think that we fail to understand the value of these three elements. And thirdly, I want to meditate in his temple. One commentary said, I want to carry out an examination of the offering. Now, just interesting to me. This is what he was seeking. He wants to be in the place where God himself is. He wants to perceive the beauty of God. There was no fear. It was beauty. The Lord was beautiful to him. And thirdly, he wants to meditate. Perhaps come to understand all the depths and that those sacrifices represented. Not only for himself, but for all of God's people. Think about that for you and me today. Three things. I want to be where God is today. And I know that he dwells within me. I want to keep his commandments, as he said, and if I do so, then he's going to be with me, and the Father's going to be with me, and the Spirit's going to be vibrant in my life. I'll be connected to him. In John 14:21 and 23. But what were those commandments? Well, love one another, abide in me, be available to go, make disciples, meaning that know something so you can give it to someone else. It's very simple. There weren't a lot. If I remain in these things, he says, I'm with you. I'll be with you. I'll continue in the Father. You'll know that you're in me. David says, I also want to perceive the beauty of the Lord. Think about that for a moment, that sometimes we just kind of blow by everything that God is for us, everything that he's done. Incredible splendor of God, Jesus Christ, our living sacrifice that ever lives to make intercession for us. In a sense, our hearts should be in awe of this, that we all know we need it on a consistent basis, that it's not just something that we don't need. We all know that we need it. And God, Jesus is ever living in Romans 8:34 to make the intercession. We consistently need it. We should be in awe. There's a beauty to this, a beauty to the humility and the love and the patience, the long suffering that God has expressed towards us. And then lastly, I want to understand the depths of his sacrifice. I want to understand the true value. Paul said, if by any means, there in Philippians chapter 3, I might understand, come into full fellowship with his suffering. I want to be a partaker in the resurrection, but I want to understand the full depths of his sacrifice. Because in knowing that, we come to know the love that lies behind that sacrifice. David said, I just want to perceive it. Now, I'm a strong believer in the fact that we can't give what we don't have. And we can't have a deep relationship with Christ if we're not seeking to dwell with him, to be attached to him, to want to know him. And then secondly, to perceive the beauty of not only his life, but all that he's done for us. And then thirdly, to just meditate on the depths of the grace of God and what it means to us through Jesus Christ. And if we do that, wow, I got a feeling many of the problems that we have just kind of fade out of the picture in light of these things. Till next time, friends, God bless you.